before the music, I was kicking myself, but we are now recording so we can share this later on. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Lori Freiner, and I'm part of the IT and instructional design learning community. And we got together, Victor, Joan, and I, back in January and thought we wanted to put together some sort of program to kick us off in the new year. And we thought, wouldn't it be fun if we just kind of had a show and tell? So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do a show and tell. There's 4 of us that have pre-scheduled to show and tell something, but we should have some time at the end that if you have some particular tool that you would like to share, you're more than welcome to do that. You can put the information into the chat as well. And I would ask that each of our speakers today put a link, if you have a link that you can share to the tool that you're going to be talking about, put that in the chat so everybody can follow along as you talk. So each one of our speakers is going to take 5 to 10 minutes to talk about their particular technology. And like I said, at the end, we should have time for questions. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Joan. And she's going to, I even forgot what you're going to talk about. Articulate?
Articulate Rise.
All right.
Hi, everyone. My name is Joan York. I'm an instructional designer at Oklahoma State University for the OSU Extension program. And I develop online courses for the public and staff. And one of the tools we use in our courses that's really been great is Articulate Rise. And the reason it's so great is because it really adds an element of interactivity and attractiveness to otherwise kind of dull, boring, self-paced courses. I guess I'll go ahead and share my screen. Articulate Rise is known as a rapid e-learning development tool. And it really is rapid. In fact, I think I've developed almost 300 courses in 2 years. So, and it's not just rapid for me, it's rapid for all of the subject matter experts I work with who develop their own Rise courses to be placed inside Canvas courses. So the faculty I work with tend to really pick it up quickly and enjoy it and feel like they're creating something of high quality with minimal effort. It does cost money though. And let's see, I don't know if you've heard of, has anybody heard of Articulate Storyline? This tool is part of their Articulate 360 suite, but it's way easier than Articulate Storyline. This will only take you, a few hours to learn, whereas Storyline could take several years to fully learn. It is template driven. Let's see. So, can you see my screen? Okay, this is what it looks like, or you can see it in this view. And these are all the courses I've developed here. I'm going to show you part of a finished course first, and then I'm going to show you how easy it is to build courses. Does it sound like a plan? Okay. So I'm calling these courses because that's what they're called in the context of this tool, but really they end up just being modules in a larger course, the way that we use them. They can be brought into Canvas and other learning management systems. And so on. So let's see, the course I was going to show you is down here somewhere. Okay, so I recently developed this one, this course on parliamentary procedure, and it's got all these different modules within it. And just as a sample module, here's one. So if we view this as a learner would, by clicking on the preview mode, this is kind of what it looks like. And then you click start activity and you can hide the sidebar, or you can use it to monitor your progress here. And so you just kind of scroll down. This course has a lot of videos in it. So the student would watch the video. And
well, there's some common.
We have closed captions on all of our videos, of course, and then continue. And then RISE makes it really easy to add in little knowledge check questions like this one. So after they watch the video, they need to answer a few questions before they continue on. And you can provide feedback to the questions if you want to. And so this one just goes through all of these various common misconceptions with knowledge check questions. And there are a lot of different kinds of things you can do that I haven't shown you here, but just to give you an example. And then I have at the end, after I kind of go through all these different misconceptions and mistakes, I have this section called Practice Makes Perfect, where they get to practice and apply what they learned in the course. So let me just make this bigger. It's a scenario, it's known as the scenario block in RISE. And so this is where you really get to interact with the content. So let's see if you can spot some mistakes. You are a new member of a community organization that has adopted parliamentary procedure for its meetings. You may remember Christy Liu, the chairperson. All this is made up, of course. And so she asks a question. Sandy just made a motion to create an advisory committee for the new community garden. You'd like to invite participation from volunteers outside the organization. How do you proceed? And then you've got different options here. You can choose, I say, I move to amend the motion. Or you can say, I call for a friendly amendment, so Sandy can be the one to decide whether to accept. Anybody want to make a choice? I guess you're all muted, so I guess I'll just make a choice. Trying to remember which one is the wrong one now.
2.
Okay, thank you. So you can change the characters to respond and then give feedback. And then they can try again, and then they can choose the right one. And you know, you can continue on through this process, and there are a lot more questions. Okay, so let's go back into the editing mode, and let's just start with a blank course, and I'll show you how quickly you can actually build up a course. Well, for one thing, they have course templates you can use if you want to, but I usually build mine from scratch. So I just click new course. I don't want to choose any of these, so I'm just going to do a blank course. And I could give it a title or describe it, but I'm just going to go ahead and add a lesson. Let's call it lesson 1. And then I can add content. So I'm going to add business content. That's new. Okay, you could add a quiz or a lesson or business content. I think those are from their templates. So now you add things, and they call them blocks, and it's a template system. So basically you can add things like text, and you can choose from all these different formats of text to add. So let's add a little text to introduce people. And then I like to add images. You could see in my other course, I had images at the top. I like this particular block at the top. Oh, I don't want it there, so I'm going to move it up above the text and leave it there. And then it's got all kinds of different text blocks, like these statement blocks and quote blocks, where you can have the person's image there or some other image. It's got list blocks and different kinds of image blocks, including image galleries. But one of my favorite, well, my two favorite ones are probably multimedia and interactive. So multimedia is how you add videos, and you can also add other things like, I've been adding poll everywhere polls to mine lately. And interactive is where you can add things that people have to click on to see the whole thing. So things like this accordion tool, I'll just add here. And then once I get it in there, I can edit it and change the text and add my own images. There are capabilities to add audio to it. And there are things like this labeled graphic where you put in your own image, and then you can add little things that pop out when you click on the hotspots. So there are all kinds of fun interactive tools in here. So I think I'll stop there and see if anybody has any questions or anything in particular that you'd like to see.
Joan, I have one question.
Yeah.
When you get you're an instructional designer, and so do the people that you work with, they kind of sketch it all out and then you put it in this program? Is that how it works?
It depends. In many cases, yes, I do that. We have some faculty, some extension specialists who are willing to work in RISE themselves, and we try to find those people, because I can only do so much myself, but if I teach all these other people to do this, we can develop a lot more courses faster. So yes and no.
So and you add
give them feedback.
And you add these into Canvas.
Yeah, let me show you how it looks in Canvas. So here's a Canvas course that has a bunch of them in it. So for example, here's one, and this is how it looks in Canvas. So in Canvas, it's a little bit smaller. Well, I could show you the student view, it would get a little bit bigger, but it looks kind of like this. And once again, you can collapse the sidebar to make it a little bigger. And then they have videos. Oh, with their videos though, they're kind of forcing us to watch the video, so we can't proceed until we watch the video. Which, decisions like that have to be made on a course by course basis, because some courses you really kind of have to, like this is a course that is required by the court, so we have to make sure people really watch the videos. Any other questions? Do you want to know how much this cost? Okay. Well, for a single license, well, unfortunately, you can't just get RISE, as far as I know. You have to get the entire Articulate suite, which includes Storyline. And that is around $500 a year for a single license. So it's not cheap, but we have a team which makes the licenses a little cheaper. And we just kind of reassign the licenses as needed.
Well, and if you have enough courses that you're charging for, that could pay for itself. So it's 500 is really not too much.
Can you repeat that? I've got to turn it up a little. I can't hear that.
I said, if the courses are ones that you charge for, $500 should be easy to recover.
Right. And the courses are ones that we charge for, and the courses have been pretty successful. And I think a lot of that is due to RISE. And the rest of it is due to me. Just kidding.
Oh yeah, they got to pay too. So.
Well, just having an instructional designer dedicated to a project really tends to help keep it in motion and keep the standards high.
Great. Thanks, Joan. We got to move on.
Okay.
Dara, we'll turn it over to you.
Sure, thank you very much. All right, I'm going to share the link as you requested to the website. And while I am doing, I am Dara Monifa Cooper. Nope, don't send it to myself, must send to everyone. There we go. So I'm going to talk about community, but I'm Dara Monifa Cooper, and I am the owner of Conch Shell Media, LLC, which is in the Virgin Islands, as well as in Georgia, where I actually am right now. And that offers multimedia production, consulting, and training, as well as online marketing, advertising, and some educational consulting. So my 9-to-5, though, because we got to have one of those, right? I'm also the communication specialist for the Southern Sustainable Agriculture Research and Education Program, which is housed at the University of Georgia, funded by the USDA NIFA. And in the chat, what I put is the link to community.com. And actually, I put my specific link because we're going to be using that today as I share my screen on my mobile phone, because this is all about useful technology tool, one of many that helps to make mobile outreach easier and more effective in reaching our community, whether it's building community for social purposes, for professional purposes, for family purposes, whatever it is, clients, customers, or maybe people that we help, people that we educate. And because you teach courses, I also have taught and created courses. And sometimes they just need reminders, you know, because putting it on the schedule is one thing, intentions to show up is one thing, but actually being remembering with everything happening in this world right now, especially with COVID and all of that, it's let's just face it, we all kind of could use some reminders every now and then. So I want to ask a question, and you can put this in the chat. What do you all currently use to share information with whoever your client base would be, whatever that is for you? And I'll throw out some options in case the brain freeze is happening: email, website, local media, including like radio or news, flyers, social media. All right, so we got one: social media. What else do we have? Email, local media. All right, social media. All right. And while these last few are coming in, let me say this: I am the ACE Social Media Learning Community Vice Chair. And so I'm big on social media, but what I'm going to show you today is actually going to shift something. Website, social, print, TV shows, traditional and social media. All right, so we get the point, right? Social media is very, very big in terms of, I just missed one more, in terms of what people are using: social media, email, some social, some local media. And it really just depends on your audience and your environment, where you are. And so I'm all about using what works, whatever that is, based on the audience, right? I'm about strategic media use and being effective. So I'm also all about people and being realistic about what's healthy in terms of wellness for us. So I don't like spamming people. I don't like sending people things that they don't want. And this has caused me over the past 7 or 8 years or so to do research on technology tools that help us with communicating with our clients in a way that works for them and also works for us. And so I've tried out all sorts of different tools over the years, and I found one that I really, really like, and that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. So before I press share screen, let's talk about social media for a minute. I know I'm not saying Al Gore, algorithms. That's like a curse word nowadays. If you don't understand them, especially if you do understand them and you have control of that, then you're ahead of the game. But for lots of people, those things are causing havoc in terms of being able to have social media work effectively for you, right? Not everyone is on the platforms that you want to share. I leverage the algorithms. Thank you, Victor. And even when people are signed in and have those access to those platforms for those who want it, you may still miss them. There's so much else coming in. There's so much competing, right? So one thing that many, and I won't say most, but many people have access to is a cell phone. And all those cell phones, without you having to download any apps, you have the ability to get mobile texts. Now, not everyone wants mobile text, but more and more people are starting to want mobile text. And the percentage of success rate from any sort of media campaigns going through mobile text, whether it's just a reminder or an update about an event coming up or a class that you're taking or a farmer's market, because I work with the farmers and different things like that, it's increasing. It's definitely increasing for emergencies and things like that as well, but you know, it is. And most have their mobile phones, in contrast to social media, which is here or there, depending on how you go, always kind of close to them. That's not good, but we do. We have our phones with us everywhere we go, even in the restroom at times, which we should stop doing. But they're usually near them. So I'm going to share my screen now, and I have my phone over here. So if you see me doing this, I'm not, you know, touching midair. It's actually really something there. And what you're going to see is my screen. And here we go. It should come up. All right, so there we go. So now what you're seeing is actually the number that I use for this community app. And I keep saying community because literally that's the name of the app. That's the name of the company, Community. And I was the first in the Virgin Islands to test out the beta version of this because I've been looking so hard and long for something that would make things easier for everyone. And so as you'll see, there's a phone number. It's not your real number, but it's an app that the person who is controlling the messaging can get on their phones. And right now, I think it only works on Apple phones. I'm still waiting for them to do that on Androids. But you don't have, the person's receiving don't need the app because it's just going to use your texting app that comes on all of our phones. And so I'm going to go ahead and click on communities, which is about the fourth item down. There's messages sent, members, communities. And I'm going to click on, well, first, let me do this so that you can see there's a number that you get, and then there's a URL that you get. And that's what I copied there in order to paste it into the chat. But I'm going to click on communities and just show you an example of the different types of communities that I have. And you can create any of these communities that you need for whatever purposes. So I have some for clients, I have some for farmers markets, I have some for so many different things. And today we are talking about ACE Infotech. So I'm going to click on that one. It's the first one I have right under favorites. And I haven't set it up yet because I wanted to do that while we were here. So basically, I've set up this to try it with you. For those who want to try it with me, I'm going to click on keywords and I'm going to type in tech. And I'm going to click done. And now that keyword is what can be used. And if you were to text me at the number that I have provided over here, the 678-506-7779. And if anybody wants to go ahead and do that, we'll see it live happening. You would then be prompted to join that particular group. Now, group is usually a bad word also, because who wants to get messages from a whole bunch of people responding to things? This app doesn't do that. So all of your messages will only come back individually to you, right? So basically, if you text the word tech to me right now at that number, we'll be able to see this function in live motion. It's similar to email, but more direct. And you can learn how to use this very, very quickly. It's a fast and growing method for communicating more effectively with your clients, your constituents, your communities, especially in this post-COVID world. So, and it could be used both for short-term or long-term marketing purposes, right? Just sending reminders, sending updates, whatever it might be. And you can do it all at the tip of your fingers. What else? Let's see. Let me see if anybody's joined yet. One keywords, no members yet. So somebody go ahead and join. I might do it myself. There's the number. But let me tell you some more about it. So
I did it. I did it.
You did?
Yeah, I'm filling out the form right now.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you don't. I'm trying to do it quickly.
Yeah, once you finish that, it asks you for a couple of things. And I don't have access to seeing anything that you're filling out. That's the other reason I really appreciate this app over some of the others that I've tried. Because once you have put in your basic information, like whatever the basics are, there we go. Got it. That first, I just got somebody in there. It just sent me that. And this will update in a few. I can't see anything other than the basics of what you put in there. See, there we go. The basics.
Oh, it gets my age. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, even if I would have put that, but that's it. Like, I can't contact you. I can't give anyone your phone number or your email address because I don't have access to it. So even if you add it, it's held from me, so that the only way that I can send something to you is through this app. And I would be able to click on, that top button there as if I'm sending a message. It always kind of looks very similar. It's a box with a little pencil in it. And you type whatever it is you're going to type. You add whatever you need to add, whether it's a photo, a video, a link, or whatever it is. And you press send, just like you're sending a regular text. Now it says 3 members in one community. Oh, okay. We got more members. So I'm going to go ahead and do that just so that you see it. But I mean, most people know how this works again. I'll just say hi, put my wave little hand, and I'll press send. And you'll all get that immediately. You won't get it in a group. It's as simple as that. And I like simple because who needs more things to do right now, right? So that is.
So we only have a minute or so left. Quick question. When you send that to me, if I respond, does that go just to you or does it go to the whole group?
Just to me. There
Okay.
we go. So it can show you what just happened here. These are the people that just joined. Ah, somebody typed text instead of tech. I see what happens. Now, if you have a situation like that, you could make text your keyword too. And that way, whichever one they click, they'll still get it. Okay. But I can see what happened there. And even if you didn't type the right keyword for the particular group that you want to be in, and I'm calling it group, but remember, it's never a group, right? You could do that. So Victor said, howdy. And I'm going to say, like your song. If I can spell song correctly. And that's pretty much it. So once, the good thing about this too is that they're getting exactly what they ask for, nothing more. And I'm obliged to follow that standard as I deal with ethics, right? Because I don't want to send out anything other than what they opted in for. And you could create the different groups, and you could have different flyers, your QR code, all the different types of things like that, for you to be able to communicate with them and for people to be able to join easily. There are many different ways to do this, right? But without the common unwelcome experiences like spamming, annoying group messages, you only get what you want. And you only have to send one quick text that goes out to everybody. It includes the ability to share the links, the photos, the other media. The client information is safe, hidden even from yourself. So they don't have to be concerned that you're going to share their information with anyone else. That's a big deal, right? So you get it. It's a matter of, someone just sent me an image. It's a matter of, what'd you send me?
It's a picture of, there it goes.
Oh my God.
Pigs.
Okay.
It's the first thing that was in my feed. I just figured, okay, that's
right. So it's no different than using your regular texting experience, right? So I would be using this for whatever purposes. Obviously, it's limitless in terms of the purposes. And I just wanted to be able to show you a live example of this because it has been a godsend for me. And I know people are going to ask that question of cost, right? Go ahead, ask the question. But I want to show you.
How much does it cost?
All righty. So what it costs, the version that I have, there are different levels. The version that I have, I'm paying $99 a month. And that's because of how I use it. Now, someone just sent me another image. Some people will actually do some other things like monetize, and I'm not really trying to do that. There was one concept where I would use it as a way to help people know when certain items were available, like let's say farmers market. And I'm not doing this because I'm not monetizing it. But let's say you really wanted to know when a certain farmers market or a certain grocery store or whatever office, training center had a particular class, item, whatever. Maybe you have that place sponsor or whatever. So those things are possible too. I'm not using it in that way. I'm using it to build community and to help to get information out easier. But what you all did in order to get in, you could set up those messages, and it is coming specifically from you. The only automated messages are the initial ones when people are setting up. And that's just basically says, yada, 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 welcome. And then once you've confirmed, you can tell it what you want it to say to. So I'm going to stop there. But community, it's my community. It has really helped me in the Virgin Islands with building community in a way that keeps our privacy, keeps the ethical ability to communicate going. And no, I am not getting paid for promoting community. And I'm actually looking for free versions that can do something similar. I just haven't found another one yet, because I'd really like to be able to have other people do this to make your life easier, because it really does. So I'm going to stop sharing.
Yeah, stop sharing. And thank you very much. That's really cool. I'm already thinking of ways that it could be used for various extension type things. It's a little pricey, but
if anyone
I
can
guess
find a free one, please let me know, because I'm looking.
Victor, we're going to turn it over to you now.
All righty. So how many of you are tired of Zoom meetings? Zoom after Zoom after Zoom. It's like, can we have something a little bit different? So what I'm going to show you is something that's kind of like an alternative. And let me share my screen and I can get to it. Boom. Okay, here we go. So this is GatherTown. So gather.town. I'll put the link afterwards in the chat. And it's kind of like a Zoom virtual meeting alternative, but it has its own little play quirk on it. If you look at the 8-bit graphics, it reminds you, if you remember from the 80s, all those video games that we used to have with these little characters. So you can actually move around inside. You still have your video and your audio, just like Zoom, if you can see here at the top. But you also have individual characters. So when you go in, you put in your name or your username or whatever you want to call yourself. You can modify your little avatar, and then you use the arrow keys to move back and forth between different areas. So this works great for like a virtual conference where you can actually have rooms, and you can only hear the people that are close to you. So it tries to simulate the real world environment. The closer you get to someone, the louder they are, and the farther away they get, the audio starts going away, right? If you go into a room, you can only hear the people inside that room. So it's simulating that real world type thing, but you still have the virtual capabilities. So what does this actually look like? Let me go into, I've been interacting with several folks nationally and internationally. And this is one of the groups that I go into. You can choose and edit your character here. You can do it afterwards. It already remembers me from last time and my username, and you can choose your camera and your microphone and audio, just like you do in Zoom, right? If I turn on my video and audio, well, I'm already in Zoom, so you won't let me do it double, but it's trying. Oh, there it is. Okay. But I don't want to do any feedback. So let's go into here. And this is Global Education Movement's town, right? Where people gather. There's no one here at the moment, but if you can see, and maybe I can make this a little bit larger. Yeah, I can. This is me right here, walking around just like a little game character, right? And I can go into different rooms. So here's the educator room. Boom, it throws me into a whole different area. Here's the lounge. Okay. Here you can go into a little alcove and just talk with just a few people in there. You can go over here. So you could use this kind of like an exhibit, right? If you have like different tables, these are different places you can go and talk to people. And you'll only hear the people that are closest to you or within that room that you're located in. And you can turn on your video or whatnot. You can also do chat. There's a chat with just people nearby you, or you can chat with everyone. You can put in links just like you do. Let's see what other settings here. There's some of the stuff is kind of in beta. You can make it where it gives you an alarm, and if you put it in preferences, if you have the room can be open like 24/7, right? And so you can put an alarm so when anybody comes into this town, it will let you know, so you can go in there, right? So this is set up as a 24/7 virtual space. And you actually design the way you want to. So, the furniture, there's templates and things, but this was already designed by someone who, here's a table. You can put, yes.
So Victor, is this considered part of the metaverse, or
kind of, sort of, yeah. It's on its own little metaverse. So when you talk about metaverse, there's like two different things, right? There's these metaverses, which this would be considered as one of them, right? It's its own little virtual world per se, although it's not a world and it's more like a town or a school or whatever. Roblox, if you're familiar with that, that's also considered a metaverse per se, but there's no crossing from one metaverse into another. So the metaverse that they're talking about in the future is to connect multiple mini metaverses into this big metaverse, so that you bring your own account, your username, your anything that you own from one metaverse to another metaverse. So it's kind of confusing for people, because in a way this is kind of like a metaverse, but it is not the metaverse that people keep on talking about, right? So Facebook has, or Meta as they're calling themselves, it has their virtual environment. That's limited to only people in Facebook, right? So part of a metaverse, but not the metaverse that people are trying to create. So great question. Let's see what else we have here. There's a mini map. You can do reactions, right? Just like we do in Zoom. You can share screen, and you can put graphics, and you can zoom in and out. I'm doing this with my mouse right now. Okay.
So when you do like share screen and stuff, who sees that share screen? Everybody in that room?
That's a
Or
good
how-
question, because I have never shared a screen before, but you can have the entire screen or window or a Chrome tab similar to what we do in Zoom. But since I've never shared one, I don't know if that's just to the people. I would assume, because everything else works this way, that only with the people within the room that you're in, the space, right? If you're out here in the hallway, I'm not quite sure what that would do. So that's a great question. I'll have to test that out next time.
So here's an idea, Victor. Have you put in for like a proposal for the conference on this? I think it would be cool, since they are going to offer some
Virtual stuff?
We should have a virtual Gather Town event of some sort.
Absolutely. Yeah, that'd be a great idea. So in terms of pricing, it's free for small groups up to 25 concurrent users. You can customize maps and have interactive objects. It's password protected access. And then it goes up from there. So up to 500 concurrent users, that's $2 per users for 2 hours. And then they have a per day, $3, and a monthly thing. So, and they have custom options too. Now for education, there is a 30% discount. So there's something there. I've only used either the free version with less than 25 people, or I participated in another town that someone's already paying for, right? So whoever is facilitating the room or putting the room up is the one that pays, not the individual users.
Maybe we just recruit 25 people and try it out and do the free version.
Definitely. It would be cool.
First come, first serve. Why not? Be part of this new thing. And I think it'd be fun. I mean, especially if we could get some folks that weren't at the conference to participate. And
absolutely. So you could definitely see something like this with using in 4-H programs, or some type of club, or maybe some farmers, just set up a little group and have them have fun. It makes it a very different experience than Zoom. It's similar, but it's different in that you can have the side conversations just like if you were at a real conference, right? Or have an exhibit tables and move around and see different things. So that's kind of cool. Anyways, that's just a quick little example.
Great. Thanks, Victor. I guess I'll take it over from here. I'm going to share just a little bit about what's called Piktochart. It's been around for a while. I'm going to share my screen. It's been around for a while. I've used it a little bit, not a whole lot, but there are some features that I'd like to show you all. Does anybody currently use Piktochart at all, or know what it is?
I've heard of it.
Okay, well, it's a lot like Canva. If you know what Canva is, Canva, you can go in and you can create like social media graphics really easy, and you have templates, and you can create flyers and other things. I look at Piktochart as kind of like maybe one step above that. This was actually a tool that one of our agents shared with us. She runs our water quality program. So people submit samples and we test the samples, and then each county gets a report on the samples from their counties and things like that. So she has to do 107 or over 100 different reports, because that's how many different units we have. And so she created, and I'm going to show you this template, except it's not. There it goes. This is something that she created in Piktochart. And so she is able to, she created her own little design, and then she can just insert the information for each county into this. And you can do similar things in Canva, but what's really neat about this Piktochart is that you can put data in it and create graphics. And so if you're a researcher or somebody that has maybe survey data, I've used it for survey data, you can actually insert your actual numbers, and it creates these wonderful, pretty graphics that you can use. So, and especially if you're creating, and I'm going to go back to here, and I'm logged in, I think, somewhere. I'm going to go back to my dashboard. I don't have much on my dashboard right now, but you can create infographics. So they have a boatload of different types of templates for infographics, which are kind of neat. I actually created a presentation. I'll show you that here in a couple minutes. You can create posters. Again, that's very similar to like Canva. Reports. This is another reason why I like Piktochart. They have a lot of templates for different types of reports. So if you have data that you need to put in your reports and you want to make it look nice, they have a lot of different options for doing that. And I'll just open one of them to show you. Let's see here. So it's loading a theme. You can go in, and if you click on, I mean, you can move stuff around and change it, but if you like click on this and you double click on the chart, you actually can just enter your data, or you can import your data. So it's really easy peasy. I mean, it's like really cool. I wish I had more time to actually use this tool, because you can create a lot of cool things. The other thing, let me try to get out of this. Cancel. The other thing is there's different levels. You can purchase different levels. There's a free version. So if you want to go, I put the link to the page where you can sign up in the chat. I believe there's a free version. I actually pay $39 a year, okay, to use this. And then they also have an enterprise version, which you have to contact them. So if you had multiple people that you wanted to get licenses for, you could work a deal out with them. But it actually is really reasonable. It's a lot cheaper than Canva, and you can do almost the same things as you could in Canva. The other thing is, if you do the paid version, you get access to a whole library of really cool art, photographs. What else do we have here? Illustrations. There's lots of different fun little graphics that you can put into your documents. I mean, this is what always trips me up is, I'm trying to make my presentation really wild, really cool, and I never have access to enough artwork. And so I found this really easy and fun to use, because they have a lot of different types of graphics. You can even, I think, if I remember correctly, you can even change the colors of your graphics. So if you have a theme that has a particular color, you can go in and change on some of them, not all of them, but you can change the color scheme. Let me just delete this. There. I want to so color schemes, you can go in. This is the color scheme. You can change the color scheme to a different color scheme. You can create your own color scheme. So if you have certain branding elements and colors that you need to use for your what am I trying to say? Your office or whatever, your college or institution, you can use that. Joan, I see your hands up. Did you have a question?
Oh, no, that was a long time ago, but I do have a question. Is there a free version?
I'm pretty sure. Let's look real quick here. where did I was on it just earlier.
Because that is one nice thing about Canva.
Yeah, it's free, but you can also pay to have a juiced up version there. Here's the pricing plan information. Okay, I'm clicking on it, but it's not going anywhere. Let's try this again. Oh, right here. So they have different packages, nonprofit and education, but I pay the education. So there is a free version, free forever. There's this $40 a year, which is what I have. Basically you get more access to some of their artwork, and it allows you to upload your own artwork and things like that. And then of course the enterprise version, where you can have multiple licenses. So you can change the colors. What else can you do? We got the graphics, design components, lists. There's all these different ways that you can insert and put a list into your document. There's just tons of, and then you can insert your own information. It's really good. Let me get out of that. Comparisons, timelines. That's another something that's always kind of challenging to create. Let me try to.
How would you compare it to building something similar in, say, InDesign?
Well, InDesign would be a lot more challenging, at least for me. I mean, I know the basics of InDesign, but I can usually, if I'm trying to create something, I can usually find a template that's close to what I want to do, especially if I have to create a flyer. I probably use it more for personal stuff that other organizations that I'm involved with than my current role and my job, because I don't have to create a lot of artwork. But certainly if I have to whip something together, this is my go-to. That and Canva, of course. Tools, what else do we, oh, you can embed videos, tables, maps. Oh, maps. This is something I put in the presentation that I gave I think it was at ACE, not this last ACE, but the ACE conference before that. I created a map, a customized map, and I'll show you that. Let me go back to my dashboard and show you a couple things.
I think this is great because usually in order to do something like this, you would need InDesign and Illustrator. I mean, for like the illustrations, right? The combination. And this is just kind of like a simpler version of the two put together, which is really cool. You have someone, you know, a graphic designer already making the artwork for you, and it can still be modified through the colors or the data that you're putting on there, which is awesome.
Yeah,
this is just,
and the actual data that you have to put in, that's an extra plus, because then you're using Excel, then InDesign and Illustrator.
Right, exactly.
And then if you have to correct something or change it, this makes it a lot easier. This is just a flyer I put together. I'm involved with my local PRSA chapter, and I help them recruit members, and I created this little flyer using one of their templates. And so I inserted all the information. That worked out really well. I did a presentation, like I said. I'm going to click on it and see if I can just click through it real quickly. I did click through it earlier, and I noticed the template must have changed because some of this was done a while ago, and some of the information has shifted. But I wanted to show you a couple neat things. So you can create your slides, and there's templates for the slides, and then you can show it online, or you can send somebody a link and they could do it themselves. But if I can click through this just really quickly, you know, I inserted the information. It's a great way to show data. Let me just click to, I was going to show you. So I created this map that showed where my survey results came from, and I highlighted the various states that submitted information. So that was pretty cool. I would have never been able to accomplish this if I had to do it myself using InDesign or Illustrator or something. But it was very easy to do and very easy to change as well.
That's super cool. We better stop if we want to have any time for people to ask or to share other things. or
Right.
comments?
Yeah, great. I was just going to wrap up. I'm trying to get out of this. I'm just going to stop my share at this point. Is there, first of all, do we have any questions? Please either put them in the chat or just open your mic and ask the question. If there are no questions, is there any other tools as you were sitting here listening to us talk today that you'd like to share or at least let us know about so we can check it out? You can put that in the chat or put a link in the chat. Dara?
Yeah, I did have one question as it relates to Piktochart. What are the formats that you can export out to, like PDF?
Oh,
What are those?
well, you can do about anything.
Okay.
I think you can do PDF. It does let you export, I think, in the
I think I saw PNG, PDF, also PowerPoint. It looked like you can actually export it as a PowerPoint file.
I think so.
That's cool.
I
Yeah,
actually present the presentation that I created. I just presented right from Piktochart, but you can download it and use it, present it from another file as well.
That's really useful. Yeah, that's a really nice find. Thank you for sharing that.
Hi, Lori, I don't know how many presentations you do, but do you like strictly use Pictograph now, or do you sometimes just use PowerPoint?
Well, I don't do that many presentations, but I do some training, so I want to use that Articulate. I want to use that Jones software to do my training stuff. But I've done both. I've used Google Slides, I've used PowerPoint, and I've used this Pictograph. Especially if I need to jazz things up and use some artwork and put data in. I mean, Pictograph is perfect for it because it makes it so easy.
I have a question for the group. How many of you, and you can raise your hands if you want, would be interested in seeing a forum like this on a regular basis? So just like a regular tech show and tell, maybe once a quarter or something.
I think it'll be really useful. And I think maybe if there were to be a survey on what, somehow to be able to gather what type of tech is being most needed, then that way, people can actually go ahead and really use it. Because sometimes we see all these neat things, but we may not necessarily need them, but there may be some things that we're doing that someone knows about that we don't know about. So whether it's a survey that just says, what do you do every week, or whatever, you'd have to kind of think about how to word the questions for the survey to get the results that will be most effective with deciding which tech tools. But I do think it.
And I was thinking too that, I mean, I'm not an instructional designer, although I do have to do some training and things, but I know the instructional designers in my department. So I'm going to say, did you know about this? Are you using this tool? Because I think it'd be very helpful. I'm going to go back and share that with my colleagues, even though I might not use it. I think they would benefit from it. And I'm thinking of the community app. I mean, again, that would be something that I would like to share with some of the agents and other people doing programming that they might find that useful. And, the Gather Town, the 4-H people, hey, have you checked this out? This would be cool to use in some 4-H programs. So I definitely think that, being able to share these things, even if we can't use the stuff ourselves, I think it's just, we're all communicators. So we like to communicate and share that type of information. Just sitting here thinking, we're approaching 5 o'clock, but I was just thinking that we will probably try to have an IT and instructional design meeting at the conference this summer. So, I mean, I'm not sure how many people will be there, but we'll try to have some sort of meeting. So maybe we can kind of flesh this idea out a little more and get some feedback from some other folks as well.
Here's another idea as can someone or we or whatever do a little write-up for the ACE e-newsletter with links to this and say, hey, this is what we did in our last meeting. It's kind of a little promotion thing, right? With links to these things. If you want to see the recording, here's the recording, just to get people, to be aware that we're doing this. A lot of people, if you're not in this community or this learning community, do not even know about it, right? We try to do it in the ACE one, but there's so many other things that might go. So if we had something that was something they could use, thinking out loud here.
I think that's
Yeah,
I think that's a
I'm on
great
the same
idea.
page with you. It does make sense because, again, there's so many little silos and all these great secrets are kept in these little silos. So getting the word out sometimes could be saving somebody a lot of time.
Great. Is there any other last parting comments? Did y'all find this useful, or
This is
thumbs
great.
up, thumb down?
It's good.
Are
I
we-
liked it.
Are we
Loved it.
good? I mean, we're just trying to get more. I think there's more there's a need for this information. It's just we're all consumed with so many things going on around that it's just hard to like take time out. But I like Victor's idea of kind of promoting what we've done so people know that we're doing it, and kind of throw out the idea of doing it on a regular basis. There's lots of tools out there. I mean, I get a notification, it seems like every other day, from Apple on all these cool apps and things. It's crazy. So with that, I hope y'all have a good evening, and we'll be in touch. And I think, Heather, I like the idea of sending an email out with the link to the recording. So I will try to work on that so we can get that sent out here in the next day or so.
All right. We're happy to
Thank
help
you,
you.
Lori. I appreciate this format because it's a little bit different than the typical webinar and presentation. You don't have to prepare too much to it. You just bring in just one little tool to showcase, 10 minutes, and quick and easy, and several folks share. Because one of the challenges to do the webinar format is like, oh man, I got to prepare something for 45 minutes, a whole hour, right? And that's a lot of work. But doing a 10-minute presentation, it's a lot easier. So I think we should encourage this, not just within this learning community, but some of the other ones too.
Yep, I totally agree. I totally agree. And I appreciate you all that were able to join us today. It's nice to see some faces, and I hope we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, thanks for coming, everyone.
Agreed. And again, if
Yep.
anyone knows of any other tools like what's been shared, please do share them on, because especially the free ones, we like free.
We like free.
And stuff that works on both Apple and Android, because that's a whole nother thing.
Thanks, guys.